devil means for bad, God turns to good. And so that's literally meaning, even if it's like something not great, guess what? You have Photoshop, you have, what's the one online? Canva. You have all this stuff that you can use to take something that wherever it came from, if it's great design, you use it to serve God. And that's amazing. If you guys don't mind, I got to keep my Farmville crops done here. Okay, so the next thing is mobile first is not optional anymore. As in, you build it for a computer, for the big screen, the widescreen, and you're clicking around it with a mouse, and then you're like, oh yeah, we'll do mobile stuff, and then they go to it and they're like, well, at least it's pinch to zoom, they can pinch and zoom it. It's like, no, that's not mobile at all. I get that iPhone can do that or Android, like that's not mobile. That's just a tiny website, and it's just super hard to read, especially if you have to wear glasses. That's super difficult. Not a great user experience. Mobile, you have to go mobile first. It's just how it is. Through every time you post a piece of content, you do a blog, or you're picking your website, you're picking your theme, your style for the website. What does it look like on the phone? How is that going to represent you? Because that is over 50%. We have crossed that threshold. That is not something that is an option anymore of like, we'll get to it later. Like, it's here. We're here. By the way, what's my end time, guys? 5 o'clock. All right. So the other advantage to going mobile first is Google prioritizes mobile sites that are mobile friendly, as in where you don't have to like pinch and zoom to like look at the tiny letters. Or the websites that are called responsive, basically where the design just collapses and where you can view it on mobile. Google loves that. They don't like it when they have to send their users to get their information from something that is just not easy to read, mobile optimized. Even better, if you guys want to look up for bonus points, AMP. And it's a specific thing. For WordPress, there's a plugin that's like AMP, but Google loves AMP. It's like their own thing that they prioritize even more, that lets people pull up pages super fast. The other thing is, like, if you design it for mobile first, if you pick a design and you focus on that first, it's always going to look good on the computer. That's just the way it is. If you go and like you try one of the M. Wikipedia or M. Facebook, but you go to it on your computer, it's actually even better than the desktop, because usually like all the ads don't even show up, and it's almost like an ad-free experience sometimes. It's pretty great. But yeah, if it's mobile first, it always looks good on desktop. Desktop, obviously being this thing. So, always have a next step for your users. This is kind of, some people like they think of like designs of like, you have the menu, the header bar, and then you have the body and the footer, and you just do things like you set it up. You don't always understand what those pieces of a website are for. And so the header is obviously where the information or the introduction of the page goes, the logo, the menu, but the footer, some people forget about this. The footer isn't just where you put all your social icons. The footer isn't just, let me get a gauge of the audience. How many of you guys in here are running your websites on WordPress? Okay, so we got quite a few. What about Wix? I know a guy, I know there's a guy, I was talking to, he runs, what about Squarespace? Okay, we got one. And is there anybody in here that doesn't have a website yet? Okay, wow, that's really good. That's really good, because websites aren't always the easiest thing to set up, but it is very important to have one. It's about 50% between how many people are visiting your website and your Facebook page. So this is, I love this. This is from a company, an agency called Instrument. They own instrument.com. They do absolutely amazing design and good design with their website. And this is their footer. This is it. This is beautiful. Like you're gonna see a grown man cry on stage about how beautiful this artwork is. But what they do for their footer call out is they just have a little next deal in Art Institute of Chicago, and you go to see their next thing that they did. And that's it. And that is a call to action. That's their footer, but that's their call to action. When it's a natural thing that a lot of people forget about when they're setting up the website, to just have that natural next step. Some people, if they're reading your pastor's blog, or they're reading his message, and they get done with it, they're kind of like, man, that was great. I wonder what would be a good thing to do now. They're not saying that, but they're thinking that of like, what do I do next? Oh, I'm going to go to Facebook. That's their action. Unless you just say, watch our next message. What's your pastor's name? Yeah. Oh, Tony? Yeah, so Pastor Tony. So man, I want to know, that was a great message from Pastor Tony. I want to see the next one. But what about, and so what do? You just put the link, if you're doing a series, I don't know if you do series or just like one message after the other each week, but you just link to the next deal in the footer. But always take, and you have multiple steps, multiple levels of your footer. Maybe you have a normal footer that's for the whole site, and then you do a deal above that, just watch the next message. Or if you do a blog post, at the bottom of that blog post, just have a form where people can contact you. If it's about something personal, about some people, people might be dealing with just emotional issues, have a little form, like there's services like Jotform, Typeform are pretty good, and it's free forms, and people just fill out their info and then get connected. That's literally ministry. That's literally ministry. Another deal is do you guys do a lot of YouTube videos in here? Do you guys have YouTube pages and you upload stuff to YouTube? And probably Vimeo as well, I assume. A lot of people do Vimeo. Something great on Vimeo that I don't see a lot of people using is the kind of like the ending scroll. And Vimeo actually lets you set this for all your videos across the whole site as your default setup. At the end of each video, it gives you an option of what your next step is, as in your call to action. Sometimes that can be visiting a website. Sometimes that could be another video. By default, I think it's like 3 other videos from Vimeo. If you just go on and tinker with your Vimeo settings, and then I think YouTube has upload defaults that has a similar deal on it. If you just tinker with those settings and provide, or even better yet, you're pushing a series. You're pushing a series and you want people to sign up, or even better yet, you have a plan your visit. You guys heard of that before? That's a pretty great deal. You want to push that plan your visit, you just leverage that, and it's kind of a built-in promotional tool just to get people, to follow in and discover something that maybe they didn't know about your church. Okay, so there's a lot of I hear a lot of I don't hear it directly, but I hear a lot of subtle questions. People even today, people ask me well, how do I do this, because we can't really, we're not really that church. We're not really, we're not a Guts. We're not a church on the move. We're not a whatever. One of your biggest advantages is limited resources. One of your biggest advantages is limited resources. Now, what does that mean? There's so much that people do, and they think they have to put everything into it. They think you have to just pile on just every kind of design thing, and we need a phone number on there, and we need an email address, and we need all these things. It's no, you just need simple and limited and restricted and small. There's a quote from this guy, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I can't even say his name. Okay, I'm just going to say his quote. Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing more left to take away. Think about that. That's a motto that a lot of artists live by. What is the most I could take away? If you go to one of the slides with a phone or something on it, with a website. Look at that website. How long do you think it took to build that website? how many people in here could build that website? How many people could build that website? How many people could go on your computer right now and type out that website, press enter like 50 times, and then type that out? That is extremely high-level creative work. That's not very hard to do. I don't know that they did that because they have limited resources, because they're probably an agency with great money, but their advantage is that they just used the simplest, smallest thing. And there's too many people, there's too many churches that they think they need everything. They think they need to pack in the most information. Again, like I said, like the phone number, the email address, like just have a button. Just think through the process of like, what can we take away? How can we reduce this to just the most minimal elements? I've picked a lot of these slides on here because just of how minimal. Medium is a beautiful site. If you ever go there and it's a great site for reading. I would also recommend it for blogging if you want to start a pastor's blog or something for your church. They have just excellent, simple design and beautiful typography. A lot of trends these days, unless it's designer heavy, very creative, they don't lean towards, I'm going to get a little super designery here. So there's serif fonts and sans serif. So sans serif is like, see the open an app guy? See how it doesn't have like the things coming out of like the corners and like, but the softer side of techno-futurism. So see the little guys coming out, like it looks like a Roman, like they carved it with a chisel, Hercules from Disney's movie, he was like, doing whatever. That is called, so that's a serif font, but the open an app is a sans serif. Not a lot of people use serif stuff anymore because it's like you open any text editor, any typing, and it's serif, and people think that's ugly. But actually serif has a very important use for reading and for titles, and it's actually super easy for people to read. And so Medium, I like to use it as an example of a company that uses typography and type design so beautifully, and they're a website. That's even better. Usually you're really restricted because you're on a website and you can only use certain fonts and everything like this. They just do a great job and a great job of representing a very good design with not a lot of effort, with not a lot of stuff put into it. If you guys want, just like after the comp, or even during, check on your phones right now and just go on a Medium and read a blog. And there's nothing there about some kind of like chat live with a Medium support guy right now, and even their ads are just super minimal. There's nothing there about this week's kids ministry message or just all that stuff. It's just the content. It's just what you're reading, and it's simple and it's easy. And if you go to the bottom of the page, they have their call to actions. They have, if you liked this, go ahead and read this blog post. It's going to be great. And that's a very good, positive user experience. The biggest thing I see that kind of bums me out is people, they have a vision for like what they want their church website to be, and they pull up Elevation's website. And Elevation has a great website, but it's Elevation's website. You don't need Elevation's website. You need your website. You need to find the ideas and the thing and the design that you like. You go on to Dribble, or you go on to just different church inspiration sites. Pro Church Tools is a good one. They'll talk about cool designs and just find inspiration, find ideas. Don't necessarily think about connecting, how we need to hire a developer, or like just find the design that you like and start piecing it together. It's like we want to strive to be like this. We may not get it done today, but we're gonna start getting towards this goal of branding, and have that vision, and then even better, start applying that branding to your print materials. And if you like your print stuff more than you like your website, well, then start making your website look like your print stuff, or vice versa. Find the visual identity, the things that you create that look nice, and keep going towards those. Because when a church has stable, consistent branding, it makes the entire visual experience feel just amazing. And people learn to feel more comfortable with your brand as a church and rely on you. Simple is cool. Just keep it simple. Again, I've probably said the word simple like a dozen times, but keep it simple. Just figure out what you can take away, and always be striving to not serve the purpose of dumping as much information onto your guests as you possibly can, but just get them exactly what they want. It's like what Katie Cole said in her presentation. It's like, quick, what do they want to get to? Get them to that as quickly as you can. It's always good to ask, what can we take away? What can we consolidate? What can we make simpler? There's a cool question I heard from a talk a while back, and it's this concept, whenever some situation comes at you or you're just set up somewhere, and you're thinking through of okay, how do we deal with this, or how do we get out of this situation of not having these limited resources or having it. The saying goes, what if it was a gift? What if this limitation, this thing that you perceive as a limitation, is actually your greatest strength, and you don't even realize it? What if there's something in that you haven't even taken the time to think about and dwell on, that God wants you to know and wants to turn to your advantage? Again, what the devil means for bad, God can turn to good. And so I want you guys, whenever you run into a limitation, whether it be a small church limitation or a people limitation, we don't have these volunteers, or we don't have what if it was a gift? What if God wants you to learn to be the best volunteer manager on the planet? And you have to start right here. You have to start from ground zero and just figure it out and just learn. And you're going to have to go and read some books. You're going to have to go on Amazon. You're going to have to go on Google and search great books about recruiting volunteers. And I want you guys, when you shift the mindset to, we're, here we go again. We're dealing with this stuff. We're dealing with this frustration. What if this is a gift? What if this is literally a gift from God? What if this is what God needs us to go through to get us to where we want to be, where we're changing lives significantly? There's a lot of resources and church tools that I see almost no churches taking advantage of, even big churches. There's a service called Rivyt, R-I-V-Y-T, and I don't know if I had this in the slides, but what you do is you give it a YouTube URL, and it makes a page of your YouTube videos. I have not seen a church ever use that as their messages page, and it's completely free, by the way. So you literally get your own custom little page that you can have all these cool themes for, and all you do is just plop in your YouTube channel in there and give it some videos, and you have a messages page. That's beautiful. It would cost thousands of dollars for you to pay a web designer to build that for you, and they do it for free. They have a paid thing, but they also have a free one as long as you have their logo, I think, in the bottom corner. But it would be an amazing church message site. Another concept, I've seen one church do this, is using Shopify and Kickstarter as a fundraising website. So, how do you do this? Well, Kickstarter is obvious. You have Kickstarter, and so, let's say you're doing a building fund, or you're doing a fund for new lighting equipment for your church. Well, do a Kickstarter. And don't make it a Kickstarter about we're going to get people from all around the world to, fundraise for this. Just make it about the people around your community. Another creative thing I've seen is a church. They set up a Shopify store, which is I think it's like $30 a month. But if you're doing a fundraiser for a month, then it's $30, easy. And they put on the Shopify store where people could buy different pieces of equipment for the church. So they picked out the soundboard that they wanted, and they listed it on the Shopify store as an item that you can donate to the church. And so people could actually go on and pick the items that they wanted to sponsor for the church to have. And then you can go on there at any point, and then you mark an inventory of we need one of these, and then once we have this one, don't show it anymore. And so at any point, people can go onto the church's Shopify fundraising site and see, okay, well, we still need a lighting board, we still need these subs, and we still need keys. And it was just a super simple, just obvious way that I don't see a lot of churches. And these are just two things that I've seen. You guys are the ones with the creativity. All you have to do is start researching. There's a website called Product Hunt, and it's literally just products. It's just cool things, software, websites, all kinds of stuff. And you just go on there, and you just look up, cool ideas, subscribe to their monthly deal. But no one on there is thinking about, well, how can we use this for churches? And I guarantee you, there are ideas on there that would help your ministry tons. The final one is I haven't seen this yet. They have chatbots now. So you type it in. Katie talked a little bit about it with the texting deal. You type in something, and it asks you questions, and you go through it. One is Chat Fuel. They do chatbots. There's a bunch of them out there. You can look them up. What if you as a church, instead of having a form where you have people sign up, you just had a chatbot? And that's what they're for. You have an event, and instead of having people fill out this kind of stale form, especially if you have a lot of information, if they're going through and your visitors are just typing their information as responses, they're not going to as much notice if they're going through and giving 12 responses. They're just having a conversation. How many of you guys can count how many responses you do in a text conversation? Nobody does that. That's weird. It's a super simple way to engage people a little better. By the way, if you guys have ideas, let me know about them, because I would love to share them with other people. The final deal is Steal Better. And what that means, there's a book by Austin Kleon, I believe that's his name, and it's called Steal Like an Artist. And what he talks about is artists, creatives, when you're doing creative work, you do steal, but you don't just take it and make it yours. You don't just literally put your name on it like I did with the Willie George thing. That's dumb. That's obvious. That's not cool. You're not supposed to do that. But you're supposed to steal parts of it and then refactor it and make it yours. Make it your church's vision. Again, just like with the live streaming stuff I was talking about, you're called to a specific people. Those people are not necessarily going to respond to something that's been specifically designed for somebody else. You need to take it or take parts of it and remix it and mash it up to make it yours. These slides that I designed, I literally stole the colors from a website that I liked. That blue was some kind of social media influencer's website. I don't think it's this blue. I think it's a different one. And then I think I got the other one off of Dribble or something. And then I got the typeface is just one. Actually, that's the typeface the Elevation uses. So yeah, don't copy churches. But and then this is cool. I don't remember where I saw this, but I just take a screenshot of the little iOS simulator on my computer. If you want to know how to do that, I can show you that later. But I want you guys to look at industries, designers, and agencies before you look at churches. And I get it. It's hard. who out there is like doing stuff that church websites do or that churches do online that aren't churches? Charity Water. I mean, the Malala Fund. There are some pretty prominent organizations out there who have strategies similar to how churches operate. They may not have locations, but again, you're not supposed to steal everything. You're supposed to steal the parts that you like and remix them and make them yours. So that way they can reach your people, not Malala's people or whatever. And then, again, look on Dribble and Behance. So what I want to do now is go into questions. Let's see what we got on the Instagrams. On the IG, as they say in internet lingo. All right. So, oh wait, that's the other one. Oh, here we go. So, Beaverder B. Am I saying that right? Oh, Brandon. Okay. We have a hard time keeping our site updated because only a couple of people on the team really understand how WordPress works. Any tips on keeping things fresh easily? I'd love to let our secretaries help, but they don't have web knowledge to do much in WordPress without potentially destroying the website. Yeah, I've seen that happen before. By accident, I almost did. Maybe I shouldn't have called you out. Oh, to make you feel better, once I crashed not a website, but an entire web server with like a single command, and it was out for like an hour. Yeah, that's not fun. So I would say it is tricky. I would say look up some YouTube videos on tutorials. Again, like just YouTube videos and on how to use WordPress. And like even better, a playlist series. There's one called Level Up Tuts, and he does that. That guy does really good explainer videos. But yeah, for any kind of website, WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, there's video tutorials. People make YouTube videos because they monetize them. They literally get paid to make tutorials on how to do stuff. And so they make these videos on like how to post a WordPress blog or how to post a this or that. Or even better, just make a video yourself. Just literally record your screen of just like, okay, this is how you do it. This is what you don't do. This is what you do. Yeah, stuff like that. Can we get a microphone set up for questions? Awesome. All right, guys. So, do you guys have any IRL questions for me? Who's got the first one?
What are these things we got in our bag?
What are those things? You guys don't know? Did you guys go to the website? Okay, so what that is, I probably should have, I was trying to be cute and just like clever with the deal. That is a virtual reality headset. So what you do is you take your phone, and let me see if I can pull up one of the apps here. You take your phone, and you go to that website that's on the top, and where is it? You click one of the apps on there, and they're both for Android and iPhone, so it doesn't matter what you're on. And you download one of those apps, and you tap little app, get it ready to go. Let's see if it'll turn sideways. And this is not the way I wanted this to work. Okay, but anyway, it basically lets you do 360. Actually, you can just go to the YouTube app, and then you should have a little icon. It literally looks like the glasses, like from the inside of them. And you can watch VR YouTube videos where you're literally like in the video, and it's so cool. And it's such a simple, like fun technology, and it's super cheap. I would recommend, like if you guys want to do a super clever church deal, have those printed. There's a site called Maxbox VR, and they do custom prints of those. And that would be super fun for an event. But it's just something super fun and memorable and like legit swag for you guys. So cool. All right, who's our next question? What are you guys feeling? Do you guys have any questions about? Oh, right here. With the slide with. That one, yeah. So these are all my notes and resources, and even these slides. I made all these slides in Google Slides. And so if you guys want to, because I actually do have some resources and links in there that I didn't mention. And if you guys want to go and check that and more information out. By the way, I forgot to mention the last talk. If you want to see the notes on that one, just change it from church-sites to church-streaming, and it'll take you to the notes for that one too. Also, I have it on my Instagram deal, so you can check it out there. Cool. Well, I think, unless we can get one, we have any more, I think I'll go ahead and wrap up early and let you guys get out of here after they're done with you. Cool. All righty. Thank you guys so much.